Hello and welcome to our weekly boxing chat, Toe2Toe, on Sky Sports News. Delighted to say I'm joined by this week's special guests, Josh Warrington and Johnny Greaves. Welcome to both of you. We're going to get a chance to chat to you very shortly, but we're going to cross straight to a man who's got a huge night coming up on Saturday as he returns to Oakwell Stadium to take on the undefeated Italian Ivan Zucco in Barnsley. It's Callum Simpson. Callum, great to have you joining us live on Sky Sports News. First and foremost, easiest one, last few days now, I just wonder how much you enjoy this bit. It's a weight cut, but it's obviously probably what you've been waiting all camp for, just to get into fight week and get stuck in.
Yeah, I think that you guys know me well enough to enjoy fight week. I enjoy all the media, even though there's a lot to do. It's a busy week. I do enjoy doing it all. So yeah, I've worked long and hard to get where I am today. So yeah, I just try to enjoy every moment of it.
Yeah, I'm coming up tomorrow to see you. We're going to go down to Oakwell and see how the stadium is already transforming. But it will be a chance for you, let's hope the travel goes smoothly, but it will be a chance to do a face-off with Ivan Zucco. I know you did one at your fan event. What are you hoping to sort of see from him? Presumably a fit and in shape Ivan Zucco who's bang up for it.
Hopefully, mate. That's what we want. Obviously, come Saturday, I expect to face the best Ivan Zucco. So yeah, hopefully he's fitting well and had a good camp.
Do you think that he will be bothered? You spent a little bit of time around him, but do you think he'll be bothered at all by 15,000 fans in the open air? Do you think that he can even begin to prepare for the sort of atmosphere it's going to be?
I'm not sure what crowds he's fought of in front of before, but as Josh was next year, he'll tell you, the atmosphere can get to a lot of people. Luckily, I think both myself and Josh are people that thrive off the atmosphere, thrive off that kind of pressure and can perform under the lights. So we'll only find out Saturday if Zucco can do that.
Josh can hear you, and we're going to try and get you to interact with each other. I told him that when I came up to the gym, we got the books out and you looked at the 5K times and how you had blown his targets out the water. But maybe that's a story for another day. But there are parallels between the two of you, Callum. Josh has been there, seen it and done it, and he's got to exactly where you want to get to in terms of world champion. How important was Josh Warrington's career path for Yorkshire and sort of how you've followed on?
Massively important, mate. Massively important. Josh the same as me, a working class Yorkshire lad. Works full time to start his boxing career. Got where he is just off hard work, and I don't know if you can mind me saying that. He never got into the GB squad, didn't win loads, but I don't know how many national titles he won. But we're never the one that got signed as from a big promoter straight off the bat. He's had to work hard, as a ticket seller, as they say. But Josh has proved that he's not just a ticket seller; as a world champion. I'm going to do the same. And again, I used to the circuits that you saw me doing were the ones that I used to watch Josh doing in the gym. And allegedly I'm beating his times. I'm not gonna get involved. But as well, and since I signed with Boxer and Sky, I've actually met up with Josh a few times, and he's given me some great advice, and sat down with me, give me his time to give me some advice from someone who's local, being there and doing what I want to do, and still doing it. So yeah, a big thank you to Josh as well for giving me his time, and it is a great role model, not for myself, but for everyone else as well.
And what is that advice that you're giving Callum there? You feel free to address him, don't need to talk to me. But the advice, if you could not give away too many secrets, but what would you have been advising Callum coming into a fight like this?
So I've given Callum bits of advice at different stages. He might have phoned me up or texted me, Josh, let's have a quick coffee. That's when you're a bit of advice on this. And primarily it's stuff about inside the ring, training and stuff like that. But there's also the other side where he's asked, like, sponsors. How do I approach this sponsor? So somebody's approached me, how do I deal with this? I want to do this with my fan base, what are your suggestions? And it's about, understanding if you're going to go to a stadium, then you need to have the people behind you. And some people can do it genuinely, and some people, kind of try to fake it. Callum's a genuine guy, he's a Barnsley lad, and he meets and greets with the people who pay their hard-earned money. And I think right there, what you've got is somebody what people want to attach themselves to, because all of a sudden, we're just like him. He's one of us.
Relatable.
Relatable. And I think when people start getting to a stage where they're on TV and when they're fighting on stadium and they're on Sky Sports News and stuff like that, it goes to red. But Callum has always kept himself grounded. You see him walking about the streets of Barnsley, greeting up, meeting and greeting fans and giving him their time. So again, you know, Callum, what are you doing here? Well, you know, I'm just one of yous, and that's why they've got so many loyal supporters behind him, and you know, a lot of it, some of it he's taking advice off me, but a lot of it is down to himself.
Yeah. Callum, before we let you go, first time boxing a southpaw, he's unbeaten just like you, Ivan Zucco. Yeah, I hear a lot of fighters say, it's not for me, boxing southpaws, but you've got to do it. How's that affected your training? What have you prepared for in terms of Zucco's approach?
Yeah, but fortunately, I've never had an issue with southpaws. You know, I think a lot of people can either naturally fight southpaws well, others can't. But luckily, you know, I've never had an issue with southpaws. Been getting plenty of southpaw sparring, and I had a lad called Joe Ward come over from Ireland for 2 weeks and helped me massively. He's a former, I think, 13-time national champion, world amateur champion. He's 14-0 as a pro now, light heavyweight. So we did a lot of technical work with him. We had Mick Liam on, who was supposed to be on the card, southpaw. We've had a few amateur kids as well that come over and give me some good work. So yeah, we've been plenty of drilling, plenty of technical work, and a lot of good sparring as well.
Listen, we're going to leave you as we look at those brilliant pictures of that ring walk. That was, what, sort of 9,000 in one stand. We've got the whole stadium now. I mean, have a word with the local weatherman, will you? Because I've run out of ponchos. So we've all got to do a bit of a dance to make sure you change the weather around. But we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thank you for coming and joining us on Sky Sports News.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Brilliant. I'm going to come back to the two of you here and fast forward a little bit. We've got about 5 minutes before we need to wrap things up. So just one answer from you, Josh, on the future. Yeah. We saw that gesture where you put your gloves in the centre of the ring and we thought we'd lost you, thought you'd had sailing away off the back of the Kakache loss, and it was the end of a great career. You've come back, you've had a fight since. What does the future hold for you now? I'm
greedy. I'm greedy and also stubborn. I've had a bit of a low profile return back in April. Got a win under my belt there, which were nice to actually celebrate a win. Probably first time in 5 years, even though I became a two-time world champion 3 years ago. I won, but I broke my jaw, so I didn't really celebrate that. What's left for me? I don't know. I still believe I can become a world champion. You know, I had 3 losses at consecutively world level, but the fine margins. I didn't get disgraced. I didn't get, you know, well, I did get stopped in one of them, but that was controversial. I winning the fight up until then. I'd like to just go on my own terms. I feel that, like I say, I'm good enough to win a world title, but maybe a few more just entertaining fights. Yeah. Stay listening to this because I do want to get your view on Journeyman. One of Britain's best ever journeymen joins us now. I think that you know, you might laugh at that, but certainly from my experience over the last couple of decades, there's very few that did it as good as you. Johnny Greaves, you've got a new book out. You can hold it up. It's camera free for us here. Bright Lights and Dark Corners by Adam Dark, who is Ian Dark's son. What's the book all about?
Basically, my upbringing, my life, growing up in Upton Park, and then going through 50 unlicensed fights, 100 professional fights, all the time going through a few mental health problems, a couple of substance and alcohol issues, but just, you know, hands up, chin down, getting through it, fighting on, and I'm here on Sky News now, so do you know what I mean? It's all gone well.
Look, it's gone really well. I know it's quite a hard-hitting book. It is. You've sort of let your guard down, to use a boxing phrase. How was that? Because it can't be easy. I still think there is a stigma around tough men like yourself discussing mental health. What's the reception been like?
In all honesty, going through it with Adam, who made my documentary Cornered years ago, look, it's a sort of therapy for me and someone to talk, and I just find it so much easier to be open, honest, get it out. And it saves sort of building up inside you. Just get it out and speak about things. And I've resolved quite a lot of issues being so open. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pleased.
I'm looking forward to reading it. My memories of working with you, and I'm going to say this now, because I always had a bit of imposter syndrome. I didn't box, but I'm working in boxing. Someone like you can be quite intimidating. I have to say now, publicly, you took me under your wing a little bit in some pretty hairy situations in the professional boxing world. So it's a public thank you to you. But not everybody will know what a journeyman is and that role. And I see a lot of sometimes from the other side of the pond, Americans will look at people's records and they say, well, how can he be judged when he boxed someone that had 100 fights and 4 of those were wins, 96 losses? But very few people understand the role of a journeyman. I think that's an art that's been lost a little bit?
Look, these lads up and coming to start building their levels as go through the levels. They need to learn these lessons. They need to do the rounds. They need opponents that are going to stand and do the distance.
Over 4 and 6 rounds.
4, 6 rounds. Look, you want to make it hard work for yourself. You can stand and fight us. Look, we can all fight. We can all look after ourselves. Look, again, you need to do the rounds. It's pointless boxing. Some of the opponents, you're blowing them out in a round or two. You're not learning nothing from them.
Not learning under the bright lights.
You want a William Warburton, you want a Johnny Greaves, you want a Sid Razak, you want a Lee Allett. People that are going to do the rounds, you learn so much, it'll make you twice the fighter. You need to do the rounds.
I've got a massive smile on my face because I'd forgotten the likes of Sid Razak, you know, great men at their trade. I want to bring you back in. The importance of Journeyman. You did it. I think you spoke off camera about Ibrahim Riaz. You know the importance of the role that Johnny, that people turn their nose up, that are not boxing fans, they don't understand. You know, anything but a loser. You know, like, may well say in the defeats column, but what an education you get from people like Johnny Greaves.
Massive education, and without people like Johnny, the sport wouldn't function, certainly for people like myself. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of fighters who come through, and the record looks absolutely fantastic because to get opponents imported in and they blast them out, and you know, they're not going any further than 1, 2, 3 rounds, and the record looks unbelievable. But when it comes to a title fight, and they're fighting people who've been fighting killers all through their career, all of a sudden they can't do the 10 rounds, the 12 round, the championship distance. Why? Well, then, one for one, they're doing it under the lights, and you can do it as much as you want in the gymnasium, behind closed doors, but it's not like being under the lights where you're carrying the nerves, where you're carrying the pressure, where you're carrying the adrenaline, and you're on the weight. It's nothing like.
I do think that we give a lot of young lads an apprenticeship as such. I mean, look, we're
100%.
teaching them the rounds, we're showing them the way.
Well, what is the stat? How many world champions did you box in your 100?
I boxed 9 world champions.
9 world champions. You cannot, you know.
Fantastic, brilliant fighters. Look, to be fair, I never got knocked out. I never got finished on a 10 count. I'd like to think I'll give every single person I ever went in the ring with an experience at least.
I know that there's a lot of ex-pros or current pros that are watching this now going, thank God he's retired and I never have to see him now going. Encourage everyone, go on try and find some of Johnny Greaves' highlights. Everyone, go on, because you'll watch through your fingers, but it was entertaining. Thank you so much for coming on today. Good luck with the book. So I want to give it one last plug. Bright Lights and Dark Corners, the Johnny Greaves story. Perfect.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
We're available on Amazon and greavesbook.com. Please,
go and check it out.
Please put your hand in your pockets.
Well, you've already sold that one today to someone upstairs, so don't go anywhere.